Welcome to another cycling vlog. Today we are in beautiful Bilbao. We will start off from the city center and the marvelous Udaletecho Zubia bridge. Then we will see how green the city of Bilbao is by exploring the Etxebarria Park. The top of that hill offers wonderful views of both the modern and the historic parts of the city. Then we will cycle down a very narrow cobblestone path that connects a cemetery on top of the hill and the old town or Casco Viejo. We will briefly see the Casco Viejo and its magical streets and move on to examine the Riverside, which might as well be the best part of Bilbao. We will cycle along the river, but don't worry because I am going to do all the pedaling for you. Also, I will of course show you the Guggenheim Museum and tell you some interesting facts about it. In the end of this video, we will go north to the more industrial part, so please don't go anywhere else. The first thing that might disappoint you is that the Google Earth footage of course shows the city in summer, and I'm making this video in winter, which does not show Bilbao in its full glory. The second thing that might disappoint you is that I picked the wrong mounting set for my GoPro. Usually I use the chest mount, but this time the camera is on my head, so definitely not the most stable footage, but at least you will get to see more of my surroundings. My goal for this year is to do monthly cycling vlogs from major cities in Spain. I live on the north coast, so my first vlogs will be from cities such as Oviedo, Santander, La Coruña, León, etc. But I'm sure we will visit the sunnier and more famous central and southern lands of Spain later this year. We just made it to the Etxebarria Parkea, sitting on top of the hill and overlooking the new as well as the old part of this great city. Riding bicycles here is forbidden actually, so I'm not going to test my luck today. You can very clearly see the landscape around the city, which forms a natural barrier for its expansion to the west and to the east. Some of the surrounding peaks had snow today. Don't ask me how frequently it snows here, but what I can tell you is that it did snow yesterday in the city itself. Now it is time for us to make it down the old town. This short journey was quite bumpy and I will show you what I mean in a second. To be completely honest, I don't know when this site was built, but it essentially connects the old town with the Mayona cemetery. On top of that hill behind me, you enter the cemetery through a triumphal arch engraved with the saying, "Here the pleasure of the unjust ends and the glory of the just begins." Quite poetic. And we made it down to Miguel Unamuno, quite an iconic plaza in the heart of Casco Viejo. And now let's take a walk through the old town. The church in front of me is San Nicolas. It was built in 1756. On my left side you can see the Areatzaco Ibiu Tokia, one of the more famous city parks. It is a shame that I am filming this video in winter because this place is gorgeous in the summer. It is full of one of my favorite trees, the plane tree, which can reach up to 50 meters in height. It is very common in Bilbao and Spain in general, Although in some provinces, like Asturias, they cut them when they're barely a few meters tall, so they're easier to manage. They also remind me of my hometown in Bulgaria, which is why I love them in the first place. On my right, you can see this very elegant wooden facade pattern. It is quite typical of northern Spain. It would have been so cool if this was part of the living room, but is in fact something like a closed balcony, which is quite narrow too. So very pretty from the outside, but not sure how practical it is. We are now approaching the town hall, the city government office, the municipal archive, and Udalececo Zubia, one of the iconic bridges in Bilbao, and actually the same one where this vlog started and our first mini tour concludes. Sit tight because we will not take any breaks and go straight to the Guggenheim Museum. A moment of chaos here. This is the city archive, by the way. It contains everything that is boring yet essential for the city council and the government to function, hence why it deserved to be hosted in this beautiful building. What a nice bus driver. Cheers, mate. This is the very posh side of the city, by the way. Any flat you buy here will provide you with a spectacular view towards the Guggenheim Museum and the river. Of course, to buy one of them you need to prepare at least 500,000 euros. What a bargain, right? The famous bridge Zubizuri, or Zubizuri, which in Basque means white bridge, designed by Santiago Calatrava. It is in those endeavors when Bilbao really likes to show its financial muscle, if you know what I mean. These are the Twin Towers, Isozaki Atea, or the tallest residential buildings in the Basque country. They are designed by the Japanese architect Arata Isozaki, hence their name. 83 meters tall and 23 floors, and of course 4 basement floors to accommodate all of those residents' cars. We can now see the Guggenheim Museum on the left, as well as the Salbe Zubia, one of the most important bridges in Bilbao because it connects it with all major arteries north of the city. There it is in its full glory. Its construction was actually funded by the Basque government and they spent over 180 million euros, and that was back in the early 90s. This sounds like a massive spending, but it paid off very quickly. The city generated more than 100 million euros directly from the museum in its first 3 years of operation, and today about 1 million people visit the museum annually. Today is particularly cold and windy, and you can definitely hear me suffering it. This tall tower in front of me is the headquarters of Iberdrola. If the name doesn't ring any bells, let me remind you that Scottish Power, for example, is actually owned by Iberdrola. It is a very powerful company, and as you can see, they are proud to show it. I think that Guggenheim Museum and Iberdrola's headquarters are the two biggest symbols of modern Bilbao. Well, at least in my eyes. I feel like I should know what the baseline for considering a tall building a skyscraper is, but this is definitely a skyscraper. It is actually 165 meters tall. This is only half the height of the Eiffel Tower, but this is not Paris, so given the size of the city, it is actually quite impressive. Notice how much attention to detail has been given even for the simple things such as the pavement. There's a clear design thought in every single piece of architecture here in Bilbao, and that's why I admire it so much. Apparently, this flower sculpture at the entrance of the Guggenheim called Puppy has been guarding the museum since 1992. I have a small confession to make. In my last video I said that Bilbao is the capital of the Basque country, which is actually false. Even though it is the biggest city, the capital is Vitoria, so apologies for that. Although officially the Basque country does not have a capital. However, they do have a parliament of sort, which is located in Vitoria. We are now on the opposite side of the river, which is a nice mix between residential and commercial areas. On the left of me sits the Justice Department of the city. We have already passed so many institutions and government offices, and nothing made the fierce focus on self-government in the Basque country more clear to me than this. Crossing this point precisely reminds me that Bilbao might not be such a large city on paper, but they have a very generous subway, which passes exactly underneath us here. It has almost 50 stations, and by taking the subway you can literally get a few minutes away from the closest beach, which I think is just fantastic. For reference, the Rome metro has only 73 stations, which is not that far off. If my pedals were not so squeaky, you could have actually enjoyed hearing some of the street music. This is an emblematic street in Bilbao called Don Diego López de Haro. It is essentially what Buchanan Street is for Glasgow, for example. Or in other words, a shopping mall at the street level. The incredible buildings and monuments are really the only reason I wanted to pass through it. There's no need for any background music in this part of the video, just listen. This is indeed the main avenue of the city. It is named after the founder of Bilbao, Diego López de Haro V, Lord of Biscay. It was designed in 1876 when the city extended massively. Everything around me here used to be the wide plains of a small municipality 150 years ago. I slowed down the video here only for you to enjoy the view of the Guggenheim, and now that's gone. Right, so this is the last part of the video. We are going north following the river and we'll try to get to the sea and see some cool bridges and stuff. Oh yeah, this is where the Bilbao Symphony Orchestra plays. It looks good on the outside, but inside it is truly spectacular. From this point is where you can really feel and grasp the industrial past and present of the city. These are the shipyards of the city, and it is great to see that some of them are still functioning. That thing above us that looks like a giant spaceship is actually, that's right, the Stadium of Athletic Bilbao San Mames. And there you go, we're almost there. The Vizcaya Bridge was our final destination. If the bridge looks confusing to you, I will clarify that it is only for the transfer of people, at least nowadays, and it works more like a lift than a bridge. But in the end, it is a bridge. Thank you for watching, and I will finish this video with some chill tunes if you don't mind.